Hey everybody, it's Miss Dietrich helping you with Chapter 5 Extra Practice. This is page 106 from your Standards Practice Book. We're going to take a look at number 21 first, and then if we have time we might pick away at some of the other ones. Rianda bought 32 apples. She set aside 25% to eat and divided the rest equally among 6 pies. How many apples are in each pie? Alright, we do have several approaches that we could consider taking with this, but one approach is to figure out just how many did she set aside first. And the way we would do that is we're going to take the number 32, which is how many apples she has, right here, 32 apples. And then we're going to figure out what 1/4 of them would be, which would be equal to 25%. Now, if you prefer, you could do 32 times the decimal equivalent of this, which is 25 hundredths or 0.25, and you would get the same result. But since these two numbers are compatible, that's a little bit easier. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Now, if you're not following that, if you don't understand why that's mental math, let's show you the other way to do it. We'll stick a 1 underneath this. We can reduce ahead of time by dividing by 4. 8 times 1 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 divided by 1 is 8. So that's how many were set aside. Now, we need to subtract this number from 32 to get how many remained. 32 minus the 8. And then we have to rename to make this a 12. We're going to call this a 2. This minus this would be 4. And this minus nothing would be 2. So we have 24 apples remaining. Now it does say here we're going to be dividing that, 24, equally among 6 pies. So let's divide the 24 apples that we have into 6 pies to see how many apples are left. And if we do 24 divided by 6, we're going to get 4. Therefore, we have 4 apples. Now, another way you could have considered doing this, you could have gotten to this number 24 a little more directly by doing the following. Instead of this 1/4 right here, you could have said to yourself, if she set aside 25%, that means that 75% would remain, and you could have instead multiplied this 32 times 3/4. And if you did that, you would have gotten this 24. And then you could have divided it by the 6 to get 4. Now, another thing to consider, if you're liking that idea of 75% is equal to 3/4, you could have also done 32 times 0.75 or 75 hundredths to get to 24 that way. All right, let's take a look at some of the other ones that maybe are a little more challenging since we do have a little bit of time. We might be able to get you started on them. Let's take a look at number 20. Jamal has 1,240 songs on his MP3 player, and 40% of the songs are rock songs. How many of the songs are not rock songs? Now, if 40% are rock, doesn't that mean that 60% would be not rock? And wouldn't the decimal equivalent of 60%, because remember when we're changing a percent to a decimal, we first have to know where the decimal is, and then move it 1, 2 to the left. So that's going to be equal to 60 hundredths or 6/10. We're going to take this value right here, and we're going to multiply it by this value, 1,240 times 6/10. Now you're going to go ahead and finish that up because I know you know how to multiply these two things together. Just be careful because you have to move your decimal over 1 position to the left, and then you'll be all set with number 20. Now the other approach that you could have considered taking is to multiply this value by the decimal equivalent of this, which would be 4/10, 0.4. But then it would be necessary for you to subtract that value from this value to get the final answer, which in my opinion is really another step. So I do believe that this is probably going to be your best approach for answering number 20. All right, that's all we have time for, so I hope you found this helpful. Good luck with the remaining questions on your homework.